You're listening to the Hockey Podcast Network. New shows every day. Find us at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.
We believe in each other. We have a good team, and when we roll 4 lines, it's hard to play against us. So we want to be that team that teams come in here and say, well, it's hard to play against these guys. So hopefully we can keep rolling and keep winning.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Today we're going to be talking about the Washington Capitals Red Wings game coming up tonight. Big one here with the Red Wings looking for their 4th straight, and really an opportunity to let us know what's going on for this season. We've seen some pretty high highs. We saw some low lows so far through these first chunks of games here. And I think right now we're ready to see if this really is something we should be sitting at the edge of our seat for in regards to winning. And I think there's a good possibility we're going to get some good news tonight. All right, let's get through some of the basics here. The Washington Capitals sit at 6-2-4. The Detroit Red Wings at 7-5-2. Hitting that 7th win with the huge victory over the Edmonton Oilers just 2 nights ago. And the Washington Capitals, who have not played since Monday, got a big win over Buffalo 5-3. Now, that was only their 2nd win in 6 games. And if you wind the clock back 6 games, that, of course, takes us to the 3-2 victory that the Red Wings had over the Capitals in overtime. The Red Wings were down 2-0 after a couple of power play goals from the Washington Capitals. Adam Murray put one away to cut the lead in half. And then it was Robbie Fabry later on in the 3rd period would actually tie this sucker up. And then after the setup from our 2-star rookies, Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond, it was Dylan Larkin who was going to end up putting this one away and giving the Red Wings the huge comeback victory over the Capitals. This game ended up being a big statement for the Red Wings in regards to saying how tenacious they'll be and how they won't give up on any game. And we've already seen it multiplied a few different times over the season so far. And that tenacious play is a lot of what we saw against Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. And when the Red Wings are fully loaded, they are certainly a team to be reckoned with. And when I say fully loaded, I'm talking about how the Red Wings are 5-1-2 with Larkin and Bertuzzi in the lineup, and a not so great 2-4 when at least one of them is missing. It's worth mentioning that Lucas Raymond then did miss practice on November 10th. It's not known what's going on with that situation as I record, but clearly if anybody's missing from that first line, it does break up a lot of cohesiveness and plans and strategy that works for this team being fully healthy and put together. The rest of the notable injuries are going to be coming from Washington. Backstrom's been out for the season so far. TJ Oshie started missing games right after the Red Wings played the Capitals. Anthony Mantha, our boy, has been out since November 5th. He's on the IR with a shoulder injury, and Nick Dowd was just placed on the IR today. And of course, listed on this is Vanacek, but he was taking pucks today. So I think for the most part, this is where the Washington Capitals will start with their struggles in regards to being so shorthanded. But now that we've mentioned Vanacek, I think it's a good time to transition into talking about the goaltenders and how that's going to affect the game. So I'll start by saying I don't think the goaltender matchup is going to make a huge difference. And you could even see in the last game where it ended 3-2, Thomas Greiss ends up with the win, but he actually faced less expected goals than Vanacek did. But the 2 goalies have been very comparable throughout the season. One could definitely make the argument that Thomas Greiss has better numbers from the advanced analytics perspective. But I don't think they're statistically significant for us to point to either one of these goaltenders and say that they're having a much better season. So basically, I'm looking at this as a wash, and we can move on to comparing the offenses and special teams to see where the Red Wings are going to find their 2nd victory over the Capitals this season. When comparing special teams, you have to give Washington the nod. They have both the better power play percentage and better penalty kill percentage. But I think when you look at these through the whole season, you're talking about a difference of a couple of power play goals and penalty kill situations, either going for you or going against you. And when it's that small of a difference, I really just want to say these 2 teams are more comparable than to say one team has the nod over the other. We do have to go back to that game against the Capitals, though, where we did give up 2 power play goals, and you got to think that we're going to make the adjustment. Now, this was fully loaded Red Wings team, as we mentioned earlier, so they will have the ability from a 5-on-5 perspective to keep up and try and come back, but it will be something you want to keep an eye on and make sure that the Red Wings aren't giving up the power play goals to the likes of Alexander Ovechkin, especially after seeing what the Red Wings could do against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in the last game against the Oilers. I think, long story short, potential for this to go better than the last game, I think, is good. Now, you compare these two teams, you can see that the Washington Capitals have done a better job of limiting offense from a 5-on-5 perspective when we look at the expected goals against per 60. And, of course, the Red Wings have done a better job of getting more offense from a 5-on-5 perspective with a higher expected goals for per 60. Now, I would challenge everyone to take a look at what's been going on throughout the entire season, because the Red Wings' 2 worst games so far were in Montreal and against Toronto in regards to both of those statistics. So it is fair to say, or at least throw in there, that there are 2 outlier games which are hurting the Detroit Red Wings in both regards. So you do have to remember that as the Red Wings continue through the rest of the season, when they are fully loaded, they are a force to be reckoned with, and something that'll be trouble for the Washington Capitals, especially when the Red Wings are playing at home. So what I have listed here for you is the depth chart for the Washington Capitals. And just like the last game the Red Wings had against the Edmonton Oilers, there's a very strong first line. And while the Edmonton Oilers were able to break up some of their superstars to generate a little bit more offense, the Capitals have so many injuries right now, it would be extremely difficult for them to do anything with that first line, but keep them intact and just hope and cross their fingers that something else works out. So for Jeff Blashill, he's going to have the decision to keep the first lines paired up against each other to try and cancel out any offense that Alexander Ovechkin would bring from a 5-on-5 perspective. And of course, while the Red Wings have been doing that all season, you've still been able to see Tyler Bertuzzi, Lucas Raymond, and Dylan Larkin put pucks in the back of the net. So that is going to be absolutely, I think, the go-to for Jeff Blashill. But for the Red Wings to find the win here, it's going to depend on secondary scoring like it has all season long, and really does for any NHL team. But that's where you start to figure out who's due. And like we talked about in the last preview, that we were hoping for some offense from Vladislav Namestnikov and hope for him to continue scoring at his pace. I would have never imagined we would have gotten 2 goals from him. But I'm still looking to see Zadina score on a more consistent basis. And it's something for me. I think the second line will have an amazing opportunity here, again, with who could have been guessed to be the second line for the Washington Capitals, having a few injuries already. This will be something where the Red Wings will absolutely win that matchup, comparing the 2 second lines, and a huge opportunity for Pius Suter, who's really gotten a hold of that stick and been doing pretty well for himself, to try and continue on those trends. And of course, like I've mentioned, who appears to be snake bitten despite having fantastic analytics numbers, Filip Zadina, to have a huge game and throw some pucks in the back of the net. I think ultimately what you're looking at here, though, is a very winnable game for the Detroit Red Wings, considering how many spaces they match up evenly. This being a home game, this being a game where we have Dylan Larkin and Tyler Bertuzzi intact, you could be looking at a multiple goal lead victory for Detroit. So I'm scratching this one in as a win. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. If you could, hit the like button down at the bottom, hit that subscribe button as well. And that's going to help you make sure you don't miss anything, like any of our live post games that we do, kind of throw those in there randomly. But of course, we have our regular episodes that are coming out for the YouTube channel. It'll normally be Wednesdays and Sundays. But if you subscribe, you're not going to miss a thing. Hit the notification button. You'll be good to go. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. And as always, let's go Red Wings.